Hello friends, welcome back to another video. I'll start with asking a question to you people. When did India got independence? Most of you say it is the 15th of August 1947. You are agreed with this date as our Independence Day with full certainty, even without seeing a single glance of national movements. Napoleon Bonaparte, he once said, history is a fable, on everyone agreed upon. It means history is just a story which is agreed by everyone. Let me narrate you a fable, the fable we heard so many times. The name of the story is The Pied Piper of Hamelin. The story is originated in Germany around 13th century AD. In this video we are going to interpret the question, is it just a fable? Let's start our video. I am Vasant. First let me narrate you the story. The legend dates back to the Middle Ages. The earliest references describing a piper, dressed in multicolored, pied clothing, who was a rat catcher hired by the town to lure rats away with his magic pipe. When the citizens refuse to pay for this service as promised, he retaliates by using his instrument's magical power on their children, leading them away as he had the rats. Finally the children died. This is the story we heard. Let's see what history says. Lüneburg manuscript, c. 1440-50, which stated, in the year of 1284, on the day of Saints John and Paul on June 26, by a piper, clothed in many kinds of colors, 130 children born in Hamelin were seduced, and lost at the place of execution near the Koppen. A 1384 entry in Hamelin's town records also grimly states, it is 100 years since our children left. I'll repeat the statement, it is 100 years since our children left. This statement was mentioned in old manuscript of around 14th century. Let's conclude at the end. Now let us see another theories about the Hamelin. Pied Piper, personification of death. For instance, one theory suggests that the children died of some natural causes, and that the Pied Piper was actually a personification of death. By associating the rats with the Black Death, it has been suggested that the children were victims of that plague. Yet, the Black Death was most severe in Europe between 1348 and 1350, more than half a century after the event in Hamelin. This suggests Pied Piper as death and children as victims of plague, and we also have evidence of plague in Germany in 13th century. It depicts migration of Germans. There is also the suggestion that the departure of Hamelin's children is tied to the Ostsiedlung, in which a number of Germans left their homes to colonize Eastern Europe. Reflecting on this hypothesis, Wibke Reimer, project coordinator at the Hamelin Museum, says, in this scenario the Pied Piper played the role of a so-called locator or recruiter. They were responsible for organizing migrations to the east and were said to have worn colorful garments and played an instrument to attract the attention of possible settlers. Here the Pied Piper represents recruiters and children represents migrants. Children represents unemployed youths. Udolf surmises that the children were actually unemployed youths who had been sucked into the German drive to colonize its new settlements in Eastern Europe. The Pied Piper may never have existed as such, but, says the professor, there were characters known as locators who roamed northern Germany trying to recruit settlers for the East. Some of them were brightly dressed, and all were silver-tongued. Here Pied Piper represents locators and children represents unemployed youth. Some theories have linked the disappearance of the children to mass psychogenic illness in the form of dancing mania. Dancing mania outbreaks occurred during the 13th century, including one in 1237 in which a large group of children traveled from Erfurt to Arnstadt, about 20 kilometers, 12 miles, jumping and dancing all the way, in marked similarity to the legend of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, which originated at around the same time. Others have suggested that the children left Hamelin to be part of a pilgrimage, a military campaign, or even a new children's crusade which is said to have occurred in 1212 but never returned to their parents. These theories see the unnamed piper as their leader or a recruiting agent. The townspeople made up this story instead of recording the facts to avoid the wrath of the church or the king. I'll repeat the statement again, the townspeople made up this story, instead of recording the facts, to avoid the wrath of the church or the king. The truth is constantly avoided to defend someone. He may be a mayor who refused to give the money to the Pied Piper, or the Ward of Church, or the king. Another darker theory also describes the Pied Piper as an evil-minded person who often wanted to kill the children. Anyway guys, but the mystery of what really happened to those children has never been solved. The story also raises the question, if the Pied Piper of Hamelin was based on reality, how much truth is there in other fairy tales that we were told as children? Initially, I said that history is just a fable which is agreed by everyone. We cannot conclude anything but to just enjoy the beauty of folklore of Germans. For giving this wonderful story. Thank you for watching the video guys. Thank you Shakti Prasad and Pratik. Hello friends, welcome back to another